Hey guys, it's Rich with your Monday Spot on the Pagan Perspective. This week we're talking about what keeps us engaged in our practice whenever we're just really not feeling it or when we're actually a little bit doubtful about our practice. So this comes from Shane L., who writes, how do you continue to grow in your practice in times that you are doubting it all? Okay, I'm going to answer this one first. Whenever I'm doubtful that my practice is even a thing, I see that as an opportunity to dig deeper into my practice and knowing why I believe what I believe. If you watch my personal channel, and I might have actually mentioned it on this channel before, but in my Book of Shadows, I have what I call the beliefs page. It's one of the first pages in my Book of Shadows that I kind of really just spell out what I believe and why I believe it. Those hard-hitting questions of, what is it that I actually believe and why are those my beliefs? What makes that a thing in my world? So I think that's one thing that whenever I'm doubting something or whenever those little questions, those dark nights of the soul really pop up, which we've also done the topic of the dark night of the soul and stuff like that. So go ahead and go back and watch those ones. Whenever those come up, I see those as challenges as to why do I believe this, and start to really get into that nitty-gritty and examine those things. Make those a challenge in your practice of why do I believe this, and is this something that continues to sustain itself in my daily life? If it's not, then something needs to go away. If it is something that is helping me and continues to be a truth for me, then it needs to have a reasoning as to why I believe it. Why does it still hold true to me? So I see those doubtful times as kind of challenges and whatnot. I think we all have those dark nights of the soul and those times whenever you doubt, is this really something that is a truth for me? And if it is, great. After examining it, I find this is a truth for me. So I continue to go with it. If it's not a truth for me, I find out why it's not a truth for me. What about it is not a truth for me in this moment in time? So that's something that you might want to see as a challenge to dig deeper into the why behind what you do. So getting on with the second question, what keeps you active in ritual when you just aren't connecting to it? I haven't been one to do ritual lately within the last couple of years. I am very bad about sitting down and actually doing or getting up and doing a full-blown ritual of sorts in the normal way that I used to always do it during every Sabbath or every Esbat. I'm really bad at keeping that type of schedule. I try and I will plan something in my mind and it just won't end up happening because, something else comes up or something diverts my attention. Today I almost forgot my video, which is very much a weekly ritual that I try to do every single week with the Pagan Perspective. So, yes, I have those things that come up in my mind, and even though I plan for them to happen, these types of rituals of mine, I don't always feel connected to them at the moment. And sometimes it's just a matter of getting up and doing it that gets you into that mindset, as in the Pagan Perspective. I've done this video 2 or 3 times. I've started this video and had to stop and regather my thoughts or something like that. Stepping back and looking at the question again, or looking at the topic that I need to focus on in a different manner. So that's something that sometimes you just need to step back for a moment. And sometimes the little tiny rituals are just enough. So what I mean by that is, take for instance Yule or Samhain. So I have this thing during Samhain or Yule where, especially on those two holidays, those two Sabbaths, I like to do something a little bit bigger. Even in bulk, I like to do something bigger for those holidays because those holidays are particularly ones that I love to have a ritual for. Well, this past year, I did not do a ritual for Samhain. I I didn't really do anything. I took off work that I do every year for Samhain, especially since it is also the same day, the anniversary of me starting my business. So I purposely take that day off to relax and rejuvenate myself and get myself worked up for the following year in business and in my practice. So that in and of itself has become a ritual type of aspect in my world. So even taking that moment and sitting down and saying, okay, let's just take 1 minute and focus on this. And sometimes just taking that little moment is a ritual enough in and of itself that you are honoring that day in and of itself and the power that is behind it and what is about to come in the future. So if you're not connecting to a ritual or to the time of that ritual, let's say for an S-spot, full moons and whatnot, used to do them all the time. But you know what? A full-blown ritual doesn't always have to be done. And I like doing the ritual. I really like doing a full-blown ritual and having something that's, huge and elaborate and whatnot. But sometimes just looking up at the moon and saying, you know what? I'm grateful for another cycle of this moon. I'm grateful for being here and seeing such a wonderful sight of the moon full in its glory and bringing up this immense energy that surrounds the full moon time. Those times whenever I can barely fall asleep because it is so full and so energetic around me that I'm just kind of wired. So sitting in glory of those times and just looking up at the moon saying, thank you for this energy that you're sharing with me. Thank you for making me so energized with your glory. Something like that is a ritual in and of itself that is enough of a ritual for me to just have that moment of connection. And always know that, just because you're not in ritual does not mean that deity is not there. One thing that I relate this to in my mind is with Christians that don't go to church. Well, a Christian might not go to church because either they're working that Sunday or they've missed a couple Sundays, and then they said, you know what, I'm doing fine, I don't need to go to church every Sunday. And eventually the comeback that you'll get from a lot of Christians is, well, I don't have to go to church on Sundays because that's not where God lives. And truly, especially in a paganism or Christopaganism viewpoint, your deity doesn't necessarily live in a building. It doesn't live only in that ritual space or only in that circle space. So, you can connect with that deity in other ways or at other times of your day or within your daily life. So you don't necessarily have to do a full-blown ritual. If that's something that you enjoy doing, if you feel closer to deity at that point, great. Good on you. But for me, I don't necessarily think I have to do a full-blown ritual in order to connect with deity every single time. So that's about all that I have for this week's topic. I'm sorry that it's coming up a little bit late. I almost forgot that it was Monday. This is officially my last time that I'm going to be making a Pagan Perspective video while on active duty Air Force. So yeah. Things in my life are about to get really crazy and kind of really anxiously awesome. So yeah, stay tuned on my personal channel for all the details on that and whatnot. So yes, hopefully I can get some videos on my personal channel kind of pumped out so you guys can keep up to date with what's happening there. For those of you who enjoy watching my videos on my personal channel. So links in the bottom bar, landed links. Anyway, that's all that I have for this week. Until next week, a lot of good topics coming in between next week and next month and whatnot. So really excited about a lot of these topics. I was looking at them yesterday. Fantastic topics. So yes, can't wait to get to them. Can't wait for the next phase of my life. And so until next time, may you have a great day and better tomorrow. And may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye-bye.